On this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq, guarding Iraq's oil pipelines from terrorist attacks and coalition efforts to help the citizens of Sadr City. These stories and more on today's FJI. Hello, I'm Airman First Class Priscilla Christensen. Welcome to this edition of Freedom Journal Iraq. Insurgents in Iraq know the value of attacking the country's oil fields. Air Force Sergeant Braden Smith tells us about coalition efforts to help protect Iraq's greatest natural and economic resource.
In the past, insurgents have attacked oil pipelines across Iraq, hurting the country's profitable oil production. Brigadier General Jeffrey Dorko, Gulf Region Division Commander, says a new project has eliminated the threat of destruction in Iraq's oil fields.
Few projects can claim to be as fast in terms of payback as the pipeline exclusion zone that protects the pipeline complex from the Kirkuk oil fields to the Beji oil refinery. This construction investment of only $44.3 million, $32 million from the U.S. government, and over $12 million from the Ministry of Defense protects against the estimated loss of $30 million of revenue each day in the event of a pipeline interdiction. The Kirkuk to Beji pipeline exclusion zone is a combination of physical barriers on each side of the pipeline, creating a corridor that prevents access by those who would interdict the pipelines, and there are controlled crossing sites.
General Dorko went on to say that when compared to the cost of past pipeline attacks, the project paid for itself within only 2 or 3 days. Air Force Sergeant Braden Smith, Baghdad.
U.S. and Iraqi Army soldiers are working together to rid the city of Amarah of insurgents. Army Sergeant James Blaine highlights Operation Look South near the Iranian border.
In an attempt to secure the city of Amarah, Operation Look South was designed to capture or kill insurgents, restore the government, and return peace and stability to a city left untouched by coalition forces for months. 10th Mountain Division Deputy Commanding General of Operations, Brigadier General Jeffrey Buchanan, toured FOB Sparrowhawk and met with the 10th Iraqi Army Deputy Commander, Brigadier General Jabbar Nama, to discuss the current state of affairs of operations taking place in Amarah. Nearly 20,000 Iraqi security forces planned and led the operation from the beginning, with the 82nd Airborne and now with soldiers of the 1st Cavalry Division acting as the military transition team. The first phase of the operation went door to door, sweeping through the city, fighting insurgents and gathering intelligence on the locations of weapons caches and jam members. The second phase delivered humanitarian aid and established reconstruction efforts of the city's infrastructure. Once the responsibility of the British Army, FOB Sparrowhawk now serves as the launching point for the Iraqi Army, the 4th Brigade 1st Cavalry Division, and coalition forces to protect and defend the city of Amarah. Reporting for the Multinational Division Center, I'm Army Sergeant Jim Blaine.
In recent months, Sadr City has benefited from a reduction of violence in the city. Senior Airman Michael Williams reports on how coalition forces are helping the citizens of the once dangerous Baghdad neighborhood.
926 Engineer Brigade has been working hard since May to provide reconstruction assistance for the people of Sadr City. 926 Commander Brigadier General Jeffrey Talley spoke about some of the projects they've started since then.
We have 29 projects either completed, ongoing, or planned that have to do with access. Access means removing debris or things that were results of combat operations. So concrete structures, buildings that unfortunately were damaged during combat operations, physically removing that debris so people can get in and out. Sewage is 18 projects. This is pretty much self-explanatory. A lot of the sewage collection system was clogged either through trash or in some cases neglect for maintenance or due to combat ops, so we wanted to be able to repair those sewage lines. Academics is schools. We have 40 projects associated with the renovation of schools, and we have 23 projects that have to do with either microgeneration or solar lighting or just lighting in general along the streets.
General Talley also spoke about beautification projects going on in Sadr City, specifically about the restoration of parks and soccer fields and the grand opening of a new swimming pool in August. Senior Airman Michael Williams, Baghdad.
Coming up, what it takes on the ground to keep Blackhawks in the air.
Here's your raid report. Tal Afar police were informed of a cache in northern Iraq. The policemen discovered more than 70 rockets, grenade launcher rounds, over 150 mortar shells, and heavy machine gun rounds. U.S. soldiers detained several suspected criminals and terrorists during a series of search operations in the Rashid district. One of the suspects is a known special groups criminal platoon leader, wanted for kidnapping and terrorizing Iraqi citizens. U.S. soldiers and Iraqi security forces confiscated weapons during combined search operations in the Qadamiyya district of northwest Baghdad. The joint forces seized multiple types of guns and a sniper rifle. Iraqi Special Operations Forces captured 3 suspected criminals in separate operations in Baghdad. One of the suspects is said to be a mid-level criminal leader and finance officer with ties to Irani criminal elements. And that's your raid report. I'm Petty Officer Patrick Dilley.
Here are the latest Operation Iraqi Freedom headlines. A multinational Force Iraq spokesman announced that coalition forces intend to release 3,000 detainees during Ramadan. The spokesman also said detainee releases will increase from an average of 45 per day to 100. The National Security Advisor said the government of Iraq will assume responsibility for paying and directing about 54,000 Baghdad Area Awakening Council members. The Deputy Foreign Minister said Iraq and Iran have established a draft agreement to examine and settle land and maritime borders between the two countries. Major General John Kelly says the government of Iraq needs to invest in Anbar's economy to prevent a return of the insurgency in the area. He says Iraq's government can win popular support by funding a $450 million proposed reconstruction budget. Those are your headlines from around the region. I'm Airman First Class Shaylin Jordan.
In Iraq, military aircraft get a lot of airtime, which makes their time on the ground just as important. Army Sergeant Jesse Delker shows us how combat aviation maintainers in Taji, Iraq, keep UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters in the skies.
The UH-60 helicopter, commonly known as a Black Hawk, is used throughout Baghdad for air assaults and transporting passengers. Just as important as what goes on in the sky is what takes place before the Black Hawk ever leaves ground. Soldiers of Delta Company, 3rd Battalion, 4th Aviation Regiment, Combat Aviation Brigade, 4th Infantry Division take their jobs very seriously. Mechanics and avionics specialists, among others, work together to ensure that the helicopters are well maintained and safe for flying. Specialist Ganesh Maharaj explains his role.
I'm a 15 Foxtrot. What they say is a spark chaser. I troubleshoot and look for problems in wires, see if their wires are broken. If they're broken, repair them, make sure that I have a good connection so things can run properly. Not everybody gets to work on $1 million machine. I do every day.
These dedicated soldiers know how much the mission depends on them. They're aware of the impact that their work has on the safety of the pilots and passengers of each helicopter they send out.
I love my job. Regardless of where I'm doing it at, what I'm doing it for, my job is everything to me. I love turning wrenches and I love working on the aircraft.
Reporting for Multinational Division Baghdad, I'm Army Sergeant Jesse Delker.
Service members deployed to Iraq have taken their newest oath, an oath of citizenship. 192 military personnel came from all over Iraq to become United States citizens at Al Fal Palace. This is the 12th group to take their oath while deployed to Iraq. Sergeant Tanika Torres was part of the event in Baghdad.
I was hoping, I put my paperwork in before I deployed, and they told me that there might be a chance that I might get it while I was over here. So I was like, well, that'd be nice because you get to do it in the palace, and that would be a really nice place. So, yeah, I was hoping I would.
During the ceremony, the participants were presented with their certificate of citizenship as well as a flag. The ceremony wrapped up with the newest patriots reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, along with remarks by United States President George Bush. And that wraps up this edition of our program. Be sure to log on to mnf-iraq.com, where you can learn all about the progress coalition forces are making throughout the country. If you have story ideas, we'd love to hear them. Just email us at fji@iraq.centcom.mil. From all of us here at AFN and Freedom Journal Iraq, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.